Good morning, everybody. So practice today is going to focus on finding balance in our lives, finding balance in challenging times by really focusing on our core, as well as some hip opening to prepare us for some of the challenges on our mat today. And hopefully that will translate into our everyday life. So one of the things that I feel makes yoga different from other forms of practice is it really teaches us to stay present, to be present with what is. There are a lot of things in our lives, in our daily lives, that we don't have power over, that we can't change, things that life throws at us, a lot of the challenges that life throws at us. But we can govern how we react to those changes, what we're going to do with those changes, how we act and react. So bearing that in mind, for this morning's practice, all you really need is a place to practice. If you have a blanket or something that you like to sit on or use at the end of practice to pillow your head in Shavasana, feel free to grab a blanket. And I would recommend having 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's totally fine. You could use a stack of books, even like a couple of shoe boxes planted on top of each other, as long as it's relatively firm, because we're going to be using it to help us balance. So even, if you stacked a couple books up and you want 2 piles. So we'll be using those later in practice. What else do you need? I feel like I was going to mention something else, but I think that is it. So we'll go ahead and start in a comfortable seat. We're going to start slow, just warming up. This is a really good morning practice, although it could be done at any time of day. But when we start in the morning, we definitely want to kind of warm our bodies up a little bit before we get into deeper postures. So with that in mind, find that comfortable seat. Make sure that you can extend the spine so that you're not sinking or rounding into the lower back where you curve the spine. So sitting up nice and tall, maybe even taking your hands to your pelvis and rocking forward and back a couple of times until you find that nice neutral position. And making sure that the diaphragm is not compressed at all. So we want to focus on the breath first. Maybe taking the palms face down this morning, so a little bit grounded. And I invite you to close your eyes or just gaze downward so that you can focus inward. Notice your breath this morning. Notice the state of your body. If you feel a little tired or achy, a little sluggish maybe, or maybe you're already energized and ready to go. And notice your thoughts, whatever's on your mind this morning, without judgment, just noticing and being present. Being present, aware, and awake. And then we'll start to extend the breath, breathing into the belly, into the ribs, and into the chest. Fill the chest with breath and exhale, softening the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Notice how you feel after that first big breath. Inhale into your belly, into your ribs, and into your chest. Pause. And exhale, softening the chest, softening the ribs, and softening the belly, and pause. Just noticing. Breathe into your belly, into your ribs, into your chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. One more time. Breathe into your belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Pause. You can open your eyes if they're closed. And then go ahead and shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Take a deep breath and exhale, ha, through the mouth. Just let it out. We're going to do 3 more of those. Inhale, shrugging your shoulders up to your ears. And exhale, ha. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale, ha. Last time. Ha. Ha. Next big breath, open the arms wide. Take a nice big breath and reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to reverse that, starting to open the shoulders a little bit. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Maybe looking up, getting the neck muscles involved. And exhale, arms down and bring the chin to the chest. Palms together, inhale, look up, reach up. And exhale down, chin to the chest. Palms together, circling the arms. Inhale up. And exhale down. Last time, palms together. Inhale up. And exhale down. Pause. Next, in-breath, open the arms as wide as you can. And as you exhale, cross the right arm over the left. See if you can reach your shoulder blades with your fingertips. Find the backs of your shoulders, those big bony blades. And give yourself a nice big hug for showing up for yourself, for taking time for self-care. Just feel how good it feels to be held. And take another breath here. Exhale, sigh it out. We're going to start to lift the elbows up a little bit. They're not going to go far. We're going to keep them crossed and exhale down. Now, if you can, release the hands, either making a V shape or double crossing into eagle arms. And inhale again, lift those elbows and exhale down. Inhale to lift, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the elbows together and exhale down. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Keep the belly firm here. And exhale down. And then you're going to slowly start to take the arms to the right. Again, they're not going to go real far. Keep them locked. And exhale, left ear to left shoulder. So the head's going in the opposite direction of the arms. Feel a little stretch in the side of your neck. Breathe here. And sigh it out. Come back to center. Inhale, open the arms wide as you can. Reach to the fingertips. And exhale, this time cross left over right. Give yourself another hug. Take a breath or two to walk those fingertips over across the shoulder blades as far as you can. Give yourself a big squeeze. You can even rock a little bit side to side. Give yourself a cradle. And then we're going to lift those elbows up and down. You could stay right here, or you can release the hands, making this V shape, lifting up and down, or double cross into eagle arms. Inhale, lifting the fingertips up to the sky. Squeeze the arms together. Feel that in the back body. And exhale down. So notice, be present with what is as you practice. Inhale, lift up. Why are we doing this, right? Exhale, elbows down. Is it just to cross our arms and do something that looks like a pretzel, or what are we stretching here? So be present with the sensations in your body as you inhale and lift the arms up to the sky and exhale down. Nice big stretch for the back body. And then start to take those arms over to the left. Exhale, right ear towards your right shoulder. Feel that stretch in the neck. Breathe. And exhale it out. And then let it go gently. Come back to center. Inhale, open wide. One last time. Bring those hands behind you. Uncross your legs if they're crossed. And we get to open up the legs a little bit here. So go ahead and drop the knees side to side. And here it might feel uncomfortable to be on your blanket. You may or may not need it. So I'm going to actually take mine out and drop the knees side to side. I feel like I have a little more space to do that. And then if you want, you can add the arms here. So knees side to side, this is opening and warming up the hips. As we drop the knees to the left, you can inhale the right arm up to the sky, plant it down, drop the knees to the other side, and the left arm sweeps up. So just making these sweeping movements with the arms. Last one. And come back to center. Bring the soles of the feet together now, making this big diamond shape with the legs. So this is similar to Baddha Konasana, if you're familiar with that bound angle pose, except that instead of the heels being in close, we're going to take them a little further out in front. I'm not sure how well you can see me on the picture. Hopefully you can see me. And take a moment to sit up tall. Lift the sternum. If you want, you can take the fingers behind you and lift up. Breathe. And then as you exhale, go ahead and take the hands wherever you can reach. So reaching towards the ankles, but if you only make it to the shins, that's okay. Again, holding on, lift up tall. As you exhale, draw the belly in and just lean forward any amount. So it's early in the practice. As we fold forward here, we're stretching not only the hips and the groin, but the lower back. So trying to keep the sternum lifted a little bit, not rounding through the back. And again, just be present with the sensation in the hips, the lower back. We're gonna do a little circle here around the body. So on your next in-breath, come on back up. Take both hands over to the left, outside of your left leg. And then inhale, lift the sternum a little bit. Exhale. You can sort of press down with the back hand, that's your left hand, and twist a little bit more. Twist of the spine. And then maybe walking that left hand in a little bit, we're going to reach the right arm over our ear, take a side stretch here. So you're bending that left elbow in towards your waist. Some of you might be able to come down onto the floor, but try not to let this right hip come up, right? So we don't want to fall over. Keep that hip planted down and reach, reach, reach. Nice big stretch in the side body. Exhale, reach a little longer. And inhale to come up. Bring both hands behind you, just like we started. Inhale, lift the sternum to the sky. Maybe look up. And then exhale, we're going to go around the body. So bring that right hand down to the mat. Elbow tucks in towards your waist or bends in towards your waist. Reach to the left fingertips. Take another big breath here. And try not to round forward. So open the chest to the sky as you breathe. And exhale and reach a little longer. Then we'll go ahead and plant that left hand down. It might feel a little awkward outside of the right leg. You can push down with your right hand to get a little more twist. So my right hand's planted firmly, and I'm actually on the left fingertips. A little bit easier. And then we'll finish the circle, walk back towards the front. Inhale, lift the sternum, and exhale. Maybe you have a little more space to fold. Maybe not. Still early in the practice. We're just warming up. And then from here, we're just going to reverse that circle. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, place the hands outside of the right leg. Pressing down with that right hand. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, maybe walk the left hand a little bit more forward on the fingertips. Inhale, lift the left arm up over your ear, bending that elbow in towards your waist. Exhale, reach a little bit longer. You can take another breath there if it feels good. And then inhale to come up, fingertips behind you, lift the sternum to the sky. Exhale, plant the left hand down, reach the right arm over your ear. Take another breath there. So this one, it's nice to take another big breath, open up. Exhale, reach the fingers a little bit longer. And then bring that right hand down. Inhale, lift up. Plant the left hand firmly. Exhale, twisting towards the left. And then walking the hands back to the front, right where we started. Inhale, lift the sternum one more time. Feel as you lift the sternum, the length in the back of your spine. Can you bring the awareness back behind you? And exhale, maybe have a little bit more space to fold here. Go ahead and hold that stretch. I'm just going to make sure that we're still recording. Okay, good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and come back up. Stretch your legs out. You can take a minute and just kind of let the feet flop back and forth. One more stretch here with the wide legs, the legs wide. And if you notice that you tend to sink into your spine, you can bring that blanket back behind you. That'll help to tilt the pelvis forward. So a lot of folks have trouble sitting forward when the legs are spread like this. Even with the pose we just did, you can always sit on a blanket or something to give you a little bit of height. So find that lift first. You could plant the fingertips down, lifting through the sternum. Plant your thighs, your shins down, and the feet are flexed. Just staying here, keeping the muscles engaged by flexing your feet is a nice stretch. But we're going to add the arms again, do a little bit more shoulder movement. Keep the left hand planted down. Inhale, right arm up and reach across the body, exhaling. And then bringing that right hand back and sweep the left arm across. So you're going to inhale the arm up, exhale, reach forward. Inhale, come back. Exhale, reach forward. Moving with your breath at your pace, circling the arms towards the feet. It's okay if you're not anywhere near your toes, but you're reaching towards your toe. So your reach might be shorter than mine. Maybe you're just here, right? Doesn't have to look like me. You should look like you when you're practicing. Good. We're just warming the body up. One more time each side. Try to keep that hip planted down too when you reach. And then taking the hands underneath the knees, we'll gently bring the feet back together and finding our first balance here. So inhale, lift up nice and tall. Again, you could take the hands down behind you. That always helps to lift up a little bit. As you exhale, draw the toes up. Maybe start to lift. You can plant your hands one leg and then the other. Find that balance there. You could also try hands under the thighs. I'm going to show you spin around sideways. So that the hands are helping to hold the legs up. You have to use the muscles of your core to lift your chest. So you could be here or you could be here. Draw the belly in. Maybe start to take one arm out and then the other. Can you still really feel that in the core? Now my belly has to hold me up. My core muscles have to hold me up here. I'm not using my hands. Maybe straighten the legs. Big breath in. Woo! Exhale, building a little heat. A little bit more, one more breath. And bring those feet down. We'll go ahead and come all the way onto our backs. And go ahead and extend your left leg and give your right knee a hug. So we're going to do a little bit more warm up for the hips here before we come into standing postures. And you can even take that knee out to the side a little bit or take it back and forth across the body. And then extending that leg up to the sky, maybe bending and straightening a couple times, just warming up the knee joint. And then plant that right foot down. If there's no dog in your way, go ahead and straighten your right leg. Hug your left knee in. Same thing on this side. Give a little squeeze. And maybe straighten and bend a couple of times. Just getting the juices going in those knee joints, waking up those knee joints. And then plant that left foot down. Reach that right leg up again. This time we're going to take your right heel just above the left knee. We're going to come into a pigeon on our back. So interlacing your hands, you're going to reach behind your thigh. Pick that left foot up off the floor and draw the left thigh towards you. Some of you might be able to reach for your shin. So if you're particularly open in the hips and this is not enough stretch for you, go ahead and grab for the shin. You could also use a strap here if you have one at home or a belt to wrap around the thigh and draw it in towards you if you can't quite reach it. Notice the sensation in your right hip. So we're drawing the left knee in, but we're encouraging the right thigh away from us. If it feels good, you can do a little rocking here. So don't be afraid to play in the movement, to experiment. Obviously, take it slow. You want to keep your awareness there so that if you do something that doesn't feel good, then you back off. If you go a little too far, you don't want to be overdoing. And then plant that left foot back down. Go ahead, uncross. We're going to lift the left leg up, bring the left heel just above the right knee. Keeping the head and neck on the floor. Sometimes you have to lift up to grab that thigh, but then you want to bring the head and shoulders back down. So I see some people doing this. You want to relax your neck and shoulders. Draw the right thigh towards you. Encourage the left thigh away. And depending on the length of your arms and such, so again, everybody's a different body shape and type, you might be able to use your left elbow to kind of push into your left thigh and push it away. But it's not required that you do that. So if you're not able to do that, no worries, right? You can also grab the shin and draw it closer. Keep both feet flexed. Try to keep them active. So rather than pointing the toe or letting it flop, keep that right foot flexed, left foot flexed. See if you notice a difference when you do that. If you want to rock a little, you could do that. And then one more breath here as you exhale. Bring that right foot back down. We'll stay here. We're going to cross the left leg right over the right. So there's no space between the thighs now. And then we're going to drop the legs to the left. So left over right and drop to the left, which seems counterintuitive. And then you're just going to interlace your hands behind your head. So you're cradling your head with your arms. You might have to readjust your hips a little, taking the hips over to the right a little and then dropping the knees over. We're going to do a somatic movement here. But first, just enjoy this stretch. Notice the stretch. This is actually like eagle legs. So we did eagle arms earlier. This is eagle legs. The legs are towards the left. You feel a little stretch here, maybe in the front of the right hip. Breathe there. We're going to turn this into a side stretch. So keeping your head and your arms and your shoulders on the floor, all we're going to do is slide the upper body so that imagine you're taking your left elbow towards your left knee and feel that stretch in the right side of the body. It's like you're making a C shape. It's a small movement, a tiny movement. And then come back to center. So try to stay on the mat, on the floor. You're just going to slide the elbow towards the knee and come back. Moving nice and slow. This is a somatic movement. So you move slow and with awareness. If it feels good, you can pause once you get into that C shape. One more time, elbow towards the knee, stretch. And come back to center. Go ahead and bring the legs back up, uncross. You might have to recenter the hips here a little bit. And we'll switch sides. So we're going to cross the right leg now over the left. Right over left, no space in between the thighs, and then drop the legs over to the right. Keep the hands behind the head. Take a breath or two here, just feeling that stretch at the top of the hip. And then big breath in. This time as we exhale, we'll start to slide the right elbow towards the right knee, keeping the head on the floor, so I'm not lifting up. And come back. And you can really take your time here. You can move slower than I am. Slide the right elbow towards the knee, pause. You could take another breath if you want. And come back to center. I love this stretch. I don't know if you're feeling it or not, but as you slide that elbow to the knee, do you feel a big stretch here along the whole side of your body? It feels awesome. It's really good for your back, your hips. Come back to center. One more time. Exhale and slide that elbow towards the knee. Take another breath here. Feel all that expansiveness and exhale. Come back to center. Go ahead, bring the legs back, uncross. Draw your knees into your chest, rock a little side to side. It might feel good to circle the knees here in opposite directions, just releasing the lower back. and reversing the direction of the circle. And then as you're ready, just roll to the side and we'll start to come up. So we're going to transition to a table posture. If you want to bring your blanket under your knees for a little extra padding, you can. Your knees are going to be hip width apart and your hands are going to be shoulder width apart. So let's warm up the spine a little bit more. Inhale, looking forward, lifting your head and your tailbone. Exhale, drawing the belly in. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, draw the belly in. A couple more times at your pace. If you feel like you want any other kind of movement here, maybe like a little cylinder roll or anything like that, feel free to take that movement in the opposite direction. And coming back to center. So a little, another little hip opener here. We're going to take that left leg, we'll start on the left, back behind us, the knee is bent. We're going to do the fire hydrant move. So some of you may remember this from when I was teaching in the studio. Take that knee out to the side. So here's your hip opener, and then bring it back in towards your chest, and then back up and out. So you're basically drawing a circle with the knee, taking it out, fire hydrant, like a dog with a hydrant, and then the knee comes in, up and back, out to the side, and in. Up and back, out to the side, and in. And then reverse that direction. So this time we'll start out, back, in. Keep your belly firm here. Out, up and back, in, out, up and back, and in, and place it down. So I'm just going to switch the other way so you can see my right side. So with knee bent, take that leg back, up and back, out to the side, fire hydrant, and knee comes in. Get up and back, out to the side, and in. This is a good place to really be mindful and notice what you're feeling in your hip joint, if there's any stickiness there, any creakiness in the morning. And then switch direction, bring the knee in, out to the side, up and back, down, out to the side, up and back. By the way, if this hurts your wrist, you can always come down on the forearms and do it, right? So last time, circle. And then bring that knee down. Take the knees a little bit wider apart and sink your hips back toward your heels, child's pose. So rest here. Crawling the fingers forward. Maybe bring your head down to the mat, or if the hips are a little more lifted in the air, you could use your block or your stack of books here and just take that stretch and breathe. Reach the arms. So we've done some warm-ups for the back, some stretching of the back. And then from here, let's go ahead, inhale back to center, and just step your right foot forward. So, not easy when there's a dog in the way. Right foot forward. Make sure that your knee is in line with your ankle or a little bit behind. So if you step forward and your knee's way out over your toe, you're going to feel that pressure there on the knee joint. Just scoot that foot forward. And then start to inhale, lift up, lift your sternum, look forward. Sink the hips in, but keep the belly engaged. That opening of the left thigh. And let's move a little bit here. So let's press down through your front foot and your back shin and reach the arms to the sky. Find balance there. If you feel a little off balance, you can always bring the hands back down. As you exhale, bring the arms down and shift the weight forward. Make sure the knee is not going over the toe. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down, circling the arms and moving up and then shifting forward. One more time. Come forward, take a big breath in. As you exhale, start to straighten that front leg, keeping the heel on the floor, peel those toes back. So maybe sink the hips back a little bit. Coming into Ardha Hanumanasana or half split. Breathe, lift the sternum and exhale. Maybe you have a little bit more space to fold. And then bring that foot flat again, hands forward. You could always have your blocks here. I'm not going to reach for mine right now. Tuck your toes, lift that back knee up, coming into a runner's lunge. Left hand's going to stay down, right hand to your thigh. Maybe reaching up to the sky. Come into that twisted lunge pose. Big breath in. And exhale it out. And then bring that hand down. You can come back to bring the knee down and step back to table pose. Or if you want to take a downward facing dog, step the right foot back. Lift the hips up and take a downward facing dog. Pushing the floor away, stretch the backs of the legs. Inhale, look forward towards your thumbs and step that left foot forward. We're just going to switch to the other side. Remember, you can always come down the table and then step forward. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. So left foot forward, right one's back. Check the alignment of your knee. I'll demo with blocks this time. So inhale, lifting up. Exhale, sinking hips forward, but keeping the belly firm. And then pressing down through this front foot back shin, reach all the way up to the sky. Exhale, shifting the hips forward. And we're going to circle those arms. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, shift forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, circle the arms. One more time. Come back to your lunge and start to peel those toes up. Shift the hips back, straighten the front leg. Ardha Hanumanasana. Breathe. So if you're using blocks, you want to keep the wrists and hands underneath the shoulders. Pardon me. Inhale again, lifting from the sternum, shining the heart forward. As you exhale, start to hinge forward a little bit more if you have the space. Feel that stretch in the front leg, front thigh. And then we'll go ahead and shift back to your lunge, planting the right hand down on the floor or on your block. Tuck the back toe and lift that back knee up, coming to a runner's lunge, left hand to the thigh. Start to twist to the left. If you want to take the full twisted lunge, reach that left arm up to the sky and breathe. Keep pressing through those back toes. And then bring the hands down to the blocks. Blocks can help you lift up a little bit here. Look forward. This time we're going to step the back foot forward, keeping the feet hip width apart. Inhale, lift up halfway. You can use your blocks or you can take your hands to your shins. Feel that stretch in the spine from the tail to the crown. Then exhale and fold over those legs. You might need to bend your knees deeply here. The hamstrings are tight. As you rest in this fold, keep breathing. As you inhale, imagine lifting the hip points up to the sky. Maybe you find a little more length there. Exhale. One more breath in. As you exhale, this time bend your knees, sink your hips back, and reach the arms up. Come to stand and exhale, hands to your heart. So from here, let's inhale, reach the arms. Draw the belly in, firm your belly, feet are hip width apart. And exhale, and again, come to that chair pose. So sink the hips back. You should be able to lift all 10 toes. That'll just help you know that your weight's in the heels and it's not forward into the toes. Sit in that chair pose. Take another 2 more breaths. Notice your knees here. Are they sickling in? If so, take the hands to the outside of the legs and press the knees into the hands. Otherwise, if they're way out, you're more like, it's the opposite of knock knees, bow-legged. Then take your hands on the inside and press the knees in. So you can actually work to try and change that over time. It's not going to happen in one session. Press down through your feet. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Whew, so you can come to the top of your mat if you're not there already. I'm going to face you guys. Let's take another little side stretch. Inhaling the arms overhead. Exhale over to the right. Maybe taking the right hand to the left wrist and giving yourself a little bit of a stretch. A little more stretch. Inhale to center. Switch sides. Left hand to right wrist. Take another big stretch to the other side. Whew. Definitely warming up here. And the sun is so bright and beautiful this morning. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands to your heart. Be present with what is. Notice how you feel. Are you warming up? Are you feeling a little more energized? Is the heart beating a little bit faster? So from here, we're going to come to a high lunge, stepping the right foot back first. So step that foot back. Find your lunge. Find the alignment of the knee with the ankle. Actually, let me show you this side. Do this so the camera can see this time. Sometimes I'm not thinking about that. Find your balance. Inhale, lift through the sternum. Maybe take the arms up to the sky. If your balance is okay with that. As you exhale, open the arms out. Right arm forward, left arm back. Find that twist. Feel the stretch in the back leg, the calf muscle. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, open the arms the other way. Now turn the back heel down. We're going to come towards warrior two. So opening the back toes as much as feels comfortable for you, but watch the front knee. The knee's going to want to sickle in. Keep it in line with your ankle. And then inhale, arms up. And exhale, arms down. Relax the shoulders. Warrior two. Take another breath or two here. Firm the belly in. Maybe you can come a little deeper. You can always try lifting the front heel. And then from here, slide that right arm down and reach the left arm up and over. Breathe, reverse warrior. And then exhale, elbow to the front thigh. Reach that right arm up, side angle pose. Big breath in. Exhale it out. And then we're going to circle that arm down to the floor. Bring both hands in front of the, or inside of the left foot. You can bring that left foot a little over to the left and turn the back heel up. So we're coming back to sort of a lunge, but now we're in lizard lunge. So try to sink the hips down a little bit. Inhale, lift the sternum and look forward. And any version you like of lizard here. So we start here up on the hands. You could use blocks. You could bring the back knee down if you like. You can even come down on forearms if that's within your practice today. You can also sort of roll onto the left pinky toe side of the foot. Just keep the knee in line with the ankle here. And breathe. So use the breath. If this feels really tight in the hips, send some breath there. Breathe. And as you exhale, focus on that exhale, softening. Feel the opening here in the front of the thigh. And then we're going to actually walk that left foot back in again, turn the back heel down again, so the feet are in the same position as they were for warrior two. Now, it might be helpful, I'm going to swing back around, don't do that. It might be helpful to have a block here to lift you up a little so you don't feel like you're straining so far to be down. Taking that hand to the block right inside your left foot, reach the right arm up. This is another version of side angle pose. So we did forearm to the thigh, a little bit deeper in the hips. And then exhale that hand down. Take your left hand outside the left foot. Step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen your spine. Exhale, sink the hands back to chair, or the hips back to chair pose. And inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Notice if one side feels different than the other. We did a lot of opening there of the left hip. We're gonna, you stay where you are. We're gonna switch sides. You're gonna step the left foot back. I'm just gonna turn around so you can see me. So, this time, stepping left foot back, find high lunge. Take all the time you need to find your balance. Check the knee alignment with the ankle. Inhale, rise the arms up overhead. As you exhale, open the arms, left arm forward, right arm back. So first you're going to twist away towards the right. Inhale back to center. Now exhale the other way. Open towards the left, back heel comes down, finding warrior two. So left toes open some here, but you decide the angle of that back foot. What feels right for your hip? So this is left hip, which we just did some big opening in that lizard pose. So notice how that feels. Inhale, arms up and out. Find warrior two. Watch the front knee. Relax the shoulders. Then left arm slides down, right arm reaches. Reverse the warrior. Come back to center, right arm, forearm to the thigh, and reaching the left arm over the ear. So first version of side angle. This is actually a modified side angle. Pose, breathe. Feeling that stretch along the left side of the body. And then circle the left hand down to the floor, right hand down to the floor inside the right foot. Turn the back heel up. Look forward, coming into a lizard lunge. Sink the hips down. And inhale, look forward. So take a few breaths here. Remember all the versions you can do. So play around with this pose. Maybe coming onto the right, the pinky toe side of the heel, letting the knee come out, but keep the knee in line with the ankle. Maybe bringing the back knee down. Maybe using blocks or books, whatever you brought with you today. You can come down on the forearms. So now stretching the right hip. Well, the front of the left hip and the outer right hip, inner groin. So notice what you feel. What are you stretching here, right? Be present. Tune in. And then if you're on the pinky toe side of the foot, come back flat-footed. Walk that foot in a little bit. You can, I have my block this time, so lifting that knee back up, right hand to the block, right inside the foot, or to the floor. Either one, the block helps a little bit. You're gonna open the left arm up, back heel is down. So the feet are again in that alignment that they were in warrior two. In our other side angle, reaching the arm up to the sky. Reaching the arms apart. So try not to dump into this bottom arm. You could even come up a little bit, use your core. And then left hand down, right hand outside of the right foot, turn the back heel up, just step forward, forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen. Feel the length in the back of the legs, the spine. Exhale and fold. Sink the hips back to chair pose. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, hands to your heart. Springing up, we're going to press down through the feet and spring up to rise. And exhale, mountain pose. Breathe. Notice how you feel. We're going to come into our balance portion now. So, you want to have your blocks handy. You could have a wall space also, or even a chair that's like about waist height, that you could just place your hand on. So the first posture we're going to come into is just tree pose, which you're probably familiar with. So we'll start rooting down to that left foot, really pressing down, feeling that connection with the earth. So that's part of our balance. The other part is that core. So drawing the belly in, bending the right knee, coming onto the ball of the right foot, and then opening that knee out to the side. So here's that hip opening. You could stay right here. If this feels challenging, just stay there. Or you can start to work to bring the right foot to the inner shin or the inner thigh. But make sure that you're not pressing on your kneecap. You don't want to be at the knee level. Hands to the heart. Once you find balance there, draw the belly in. Find something to draw your gaze to. In yoga, they call that the drishti. So something that's not moving, preferably. Helping you find your balance. Maybe taking the arms overhead. Notice how that changes things. Press that foot into the thigh if you're at the thigh, and the thigh presses back. There's a resistance. Draw the belly in. If you want to be at the wall, you can be at the wall. Just make sure you're not like leaning into it. So you want to still press down to that foot. draw the belly in, start to work on being able to find that balance. So you might just be working here today. We're going to take this into another pose in a moment. So go ahead and release that. We're going to do the other side first. Walking through the feet a little bit. Start to shift. Find your balance on the right side. Root down through that right foot without locking the knee. Bend your left knee. Draw the belly up and in. Start to open that hip. So left sole of the left foot is facing your right leg. Maybe you start to bring the foot to the shin, finding balance there, or to the thigh. If you have any other version that you like, feel free to do that as well. Find that balance, draw the belly in, gaze forward. Maybe if that's easy, if that's difficult, you're going to stay there and work there. If it's easy for you, go ahead and take the arms overhead. Even try to close the eyes. Not easy. You realize how important vision is for balance. Bring the hands back to the heart and let it go. So from here, we're going to come back to the left foot. We may want to have the blocks available to you in front of you. So we're going to come into a version of chair pose with the heel above the knee, much like pigeon or figure four. Some people call that figure four. There's a couple different ways to get into this posture. So for me, I can come into chair pose. You can try this version first. And then we start to find balance in the left leg by lifting the right leg up, placing it on top, and just sinking the hips back into chair pose. Once you're there, bringing the hands to the heart. And breathe. Keep pressing down to that left foot, drawing in through the belly. You might feel yourself start to lose balance. If that is not working for you, you can use the blocks. And also, if you start to lose balance, you can grab those blocks. Or you can bend over first, start to bend the knees. Using the block to help you out, start to pick that foot up with the other hand, sink the hips back, finding balance that way. And you can hold on to the blocks until you start to feel that balance. Part of that balance is developing your core. So, but you want to be careful if you're using the blocks, you're not leaning forward because you're never going to find your balance that way. So we have to start sinking into the hips, lifting up. That's where the core comes in and finding that balance. And then go ahead and lift up, come out of that. We have another side to do, and we have another balance pose. So pressing down to the right foot, I'm going to come into it yet another way, a third way. You can try either of those ways we just did, or start to lift the left knee up, come into stork pose. Then place that heel above the knee, then sink into chair pose. It's actually my favorite way to come into it. So finding it on the other side is figure four, seated pigeon. Breathe. Maybe sink in a little bit more. And then gently come all the way up, march it out, shake it out. Whew. Come back to mountain pose. Notice how you feel. We're doing a lot of hip work. A lot of times I feel it after the practice. So hopefully you'll feel a little more open throughout the day. Notice how you feel. Tune in, stop. Remind yourself, stop. How do I feel right now? Next posture we're going to do is a eagle pose. So we kind of been practicing for that. We did some eagle legs and eagle arms earlier. For this one, it can be helpful to have a block outside of your left foot. Again, we're going to start balancing on the left foot. And for this one, we're going to cross the right leg over the left, bringing that right knee a little higher than the left. And that's where it's helpful to have that block. And then starting to sink the hips back and sit and find that chair pose again. You can take the arms out behind you and stay right here. Find that balance. And then crossing, I always have to think about this. So legs are right over left, left over arm. Give yourself a hug again. Maybe you can take that foot off the block or even double cross. And then maybe you can double cross the arms and inhale, lift the arms up and sink the hips down. Whew. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Can we hold it for another breath? Exhale it out. Inhale, spring up, open up, fly away. Let your ego fly away. Whew. Shake it out. Come back to center. Find mountain pose. So life is full of those little challenges, and then there's a period of rest, right? Hopefully we get a break. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. Sometimes we have a challenge and then another challenge and then another challenge. So here's our last challenge for the day. Place that block outside of your right foot. You know where we're going. So crossing the left foot over the right, making space here, so make sure that you can bring that leg above the left. So that's where that block is helpful. It's going to lift that foot up a little higher. And I'm starting to sink in, finding chair pose. My hips are going back. Open the arms wide. So we're left over right on the legs. So right over left, the opposite on the arms. Give yourself a hug. Sink back, but keep the sternum lifted. Maybe double cross the arms and lift up to the sky. Sink a little lower. Maybe double crossing the legs. One side might be more challenged than the other. I'm feeling it in my hip today, so I'm not going to double cross the legs. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Exhale. Can you take one more breath? Woo. Squeeze those arms. Sink down. Inhale. Let your eagle fly away. And shake it out. Let's release a little stress here. Shake those arms. Shake those elbows. Shake the shoulders up and down. Shake the legs. Shake the head. Now take a deep breath in. Grab it all up. And exhale. Ha! Throw it away. Whew. One more time. I don't think to talk like that. Shake, shake, shake everything. And then inhale, grab up any stress, any tension in the body. Big breath in and exhale. Ha! Throw it away. And if anyone in your family, if you're home with family right now and they're looking at you like you're strange, just say, you have no idea how good that feels. Let it go. And we will go ahead and come back down. You don't need the blocks anymore. To a seat. Let's go ahead. We have a little bit more time. Now let's go ahead and come all the way down into the back. So we're going to come into a bridge pose. If you're really feeling like that took a lot out of you and you want to come into a restorative bridge, actually, let's all do that because I know where I'm going to go from here. So take your block if you have one, or you could even take two and stack them. And we're going to plant the feet down, lift the hips up, and place that block underneath, either the lowest height or the medium height, whichever one feels good for you. And then walking those feet in a little bit. So ankles ideally are underneath the knees, maybe a little bit in. And just resting there with the hips above the heart. Let yourself have a restorative bridge today. We did a lot of work already with the legs, the hamstrings, the thighs, the hips. Let your palms be up for receiving or down if you feel like you need a little grounding here. You can even play with that and notice how you feel. I think grounding feels good this morning. Allow the back of your head to rest. The shoulders to rest. And then as you feel ready, we're going to start to draw the right knee in.
the left knee in. So you're balancing on that block. It's really important that that block is right on the back of your pelvis, supporting your pelvis. You don't want it to flip on you because it won't feel very good if you fall off of it. And then slowly start to straighten the legs up to the sky. So we're coming into this supported sort of a half shoulder stand. You can let the arms stay down, palms down to be grounded here. Lifting the legs up. Breathe. And awareness to the belly. Taking a deep breath in as you exhale, soften the belly. So we used our core quite a bit today as well. Core muscles. Balancing on those legs. Now we're giving those legs a break. Press to the balls of the feet here. And then slowly start to bend your knees, drawing them back in, bringing the feet down to the floor. Walk the shoulders under a little bit. Press down through your feet and your upper arms. Lift the hips up and slowly take that block out. Let the hips come back down. Straighten the left leg and hug the right knee in. Straighten both legs. Reach your arms overhead. Stretch. And exhale, hug your left knee in. One more stretch, reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, draw both knees in, take your knees over to the right, come into that final twist. And if the legs don't come all the way to the floor, you can place a block underneath or even in between the legs. So I don't actually need the block, I'm gonna leave it out. Try to keep the legs together, reach the left arm out to the left, keep that left shoulder down. Maybe gazing over towards the left thumb. If that doesn't feel appropriate for your neck, just gaze towards the ceiling. Allowing the body to rest. And then we'll just switch sides. So bring the feet, the knees back to center. Maybe recenter your hips or take your hips a little over to the right and drop the knees to the left. Reach the right arm out. Right shoulder stays down on the ground. Same instructions for this side. If the knees don't make it to the floor, you can place something underneath. It could be a block, a cushion, whatever you have in your home. Try to keep the knees together though. You can also place a blanket in between the knees. Maybe taking your gaze towards the right thumb. If that doesn't feel good on your neck or that's too intense, just gaze towards the ceiling, maybe close the eyes. Coming down from the practice. Notice what you feel in the body. I notice my belly's gurgling, telling me it is almost time for breakfast. And then bring those feet back to the floor. Recenter your hips. It's good to be centered here. Start to straighten one leg and then the other. Allow your arms to come to your sides. So palms face up for opening, receiving. Palms down if you still feel like you need a little grounding. If you like, you can always place a rolled blanket under your knees or a pillow. And you can have a folded blanket under your head if you need a little pillow there. We're not going to be here that long. So nice to take a long shavasana at night. before bed, we really want to come down, especially if you've been doing a physical practice, so that you're not jazzed up before you go to bed. And really best, unless you're doing restorative, not to practice yoga late at night, unless you're doing, these forward folds, things that kind of bring you back down. But since we're practicing in the morning, or that's the intention, you can use this practice anytime. We're not going to stay here too long. We just want to let the body reset. We want to integrate the practice. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, start to let go. Feel all the points of contact between your body and the floor. And as you breathe in, imagine taking up more space. Spreading outward. As you exhale, allow the body to get heavier on the floor. Be present with the breath. If any place in the body feels a little tense still or sore, imagine as you inhale that you could fill that space with breath. And as you exhale, can you soften a little bit? Can you let go? Releasing tension, releasing tightness. Allow the forehead to soften, jaw to soften. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, imagine someone placing their hands on your shoulders and just pressing down. Another deep breath in. Breathing out to the edges of the fingers and the toes. And as you exhale, let go. Being present with the breath, notice the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Notice the sensation of the air as it enters and leaves your nose. Feel the breath on your skin as it leaves your nose. And then reaching out to the edges of the body, notice where the body ends and the space around it begins. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, your feet and your hands. As you feel ready on an in-breath, maybe take a big stretch and reach those arms overhead. As you exhale, start to transition to your side. Pausing there, take a moment to get grounded. And then start to walk yourself back up, finding that seated posture. Take another deep breath in, shrug your shoulders. Exhale, let it go. Turn the palms up for a moment. Notice how you feel. Notice if there's any shift in the body, the mind, or the breath. And then inhaling, arms overhead. Let the palms touch.
Exhale, hands to the crown. Inhale, thumbs to the third eye, the center of the forehead. Exhale to the throat. Inhale to the heart. And exhale, bowing forward. Honor yourself for taking time for self-care. And anyone who made this space possible for you to take this practice today. The light in me reflects and honors the light in each of you.